Good morning, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tilly of Simple Living Suffolk and I'm here to talk to you about books. Okay, let's get a few things straight first off. I'm waiting for the plumber to come because they're doing my ensuite. So I'm hoping I can try and get this video filmed before they get here because usually they get here between 8 and 8:30. So let's see. But I might have to pause and disappear and then reappear in my office which is outside the house. Second point, I'm going for a run with my friend later and I didn't want to waste two sets of clothes, so I'm in my running clothes now. So allow the gym attire and the belly out and the fringe up so you can see my 30-year-old wrinkles. Anyway, sorry about the mess that we've given up because the ensuite's getting done, the house was a mess. Anyway, welcome back to this week's channel, this week's video. It is the 22nd, the day the video is coming out, because I haven't had time to do it because the plumbers have been here. But today we're going to talk about new releases in 2025 that I'm excited for. Yeah. There's 8 I'm going to talk about. So, without further ado. Anyway, the first one I'm excited for is Sunrise on the Reaping by Susanna Collins, which is another prequel to The Hunger Games. And that comes out on the 18th of March. And it's Haymitch's story, he's from District 12, and he was in the Court to Quell. So if anyone's read or watched The Hunger Games, Haymitch was like the trainer, like the, can't remember the word for it, but he supported her, Katniss, and Peter. So it'll be really interesting to read his story, and I think it's harrowing. And I think Susanna Collins has said things before where she's not going to write more Hunger Games books unless there's something she feels needs to be said. So it's interesting to see what she feels needs to be said about this. Number 2. So this actually came out yesterday. It's Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. So that came out on the 21st of January, and that's the third in the Fourth Wing series. I think it's called something, the series is called something else, but I can't remember. So there's going to be 5 books overall. But I've just read the first book and I loved it. I really want to read Iron Flame, so I'm going to get it out of the library soon. But I've actually got 2 books out of the library already, and I've got 2 more to pick up today. So I've already gone crazy on library books. So I won't read it for a bit. So I'm really excited for that, and I keep seeing like people on my girlies on my Discord are reading the book, and I keep seeing people on like on Instagram and stuff. So I really want to read the new one. The third book that I'm looking forward to is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and that comes out on the 3rd of June 2025. So I basically love anything by Taylor Jenkins Reid. As I've mentioned before, I've just read, did I mention this before? As you'll see in my roundup for January, I read Carrie Soto Is Back this month, but I also love The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I've read like One Tree Loves, I think. I've read Daisy Jones and the Six. I've read loads of Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I just love her writing. And this is another one which is part of like her historical fiction. So along with Carrie Soto, Daisy Jones and Evelyn Hugo, this one, Atmosphere, follows the 1980 space shuttle program, following one of the first female astronauts to go to space. And having read the blurb, it sounds like it might be a queer love story in the vein of Evelyn Hugo, so fingers crossed for that. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's the third one. The fourth book I'm really looking forward to this year is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana, and that comes out the 15th of July. So this is the same author as The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which, if you know, I read that last year, 2024, and I rated it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. That was really like cozy magical. And so this one seems like another cozy magical book, but set in an inn. I really like that cozy fantasy vibe. So The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, for example. But I also like Legends and Nates by Travis Baldry, and I'm going to be reading Bookshops and Bone Dust as a buddy read with my friend in March. which is the second one in the Legends and Lattes series. But yes, I'm really looking forward to this, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. There's romance, it's set in an inn, a witch wants to get her powers back, and there's a talking fox. Sounds interesting. The next one I'm looking forward to is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. And that's due out the 28th of August, which is also my boyfriend's birthday and the day after my daughter's birthday. So R.F. Kuang is the author of Yellowface, which I read for book club a couple of years ago. I wouldn't like adore it, but I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't like a 5-star, but I think it was like 3.75, maybe, or 4. It was quite good. It was an interesting concept. And I am about to read Poppy War for the March disc. I've got it on here actually. Poppy War. I'm about to read Poppy War for the March buddy read with my Discord girlies, and that's also an R.F. Kuang. So this Catabasis says it's an ancient Greek story of travelling to and from the underworld. I say this says, these are my notes. I say, it seems like from the blurb. It's an ancient Greek story of travelling to and from the underworld. It seems like it's dark academia vibes, as the person they're going to the underworld to get is their academic advisor. So I love dark academia, like The Secret History, Bunny, all of that sort of thing. But I also really enjoyed Circe, which is Greek mythology. And I'm currently reading Mythos with my boyfriend, which I've got here. We're reading like a story a night, and that's again the Greek mythology, which I'm really enjoying. So I think Catabasis, I'll really enjoy that. These are, yeah, that's the 5th one I'm looking forward to. I do feel like they're going to come out and then I'm not going to read them for years because I'm on a book buying ban this year, and then I'll have to get them from the library. And I didn't mention this. I have just reserved Intermezzo by Sally Rooney at the library because I was like, I really want to read it, but I don't want to buy it. And I would borrow it for my best friend, but she hasn't read it yet. So I'll borrow it from her when she's finished. But in the meantime, I'll go on the library list while I wait. 164 out of 164. So I think that's going to be a good year till I read that. Anyway, the 6th book I'm looking forward to is The Sirens by Amelia Hart. By Amelia Hart. I can't read my own handwriting. And that's due out the 13th of February. So if anyone else knows, Amelia Hart is the author of Wayward, which is, you'd think I would have got these out in advance, don't you? Wayward. So Amelia Hart wrote Wayward, and the new book coming out is called The Sirens, which seems to be siblings in search of their missing sister. Siblings in search of their missing sister. And it seems like another book that covers stories in different centuries. So in Wayward, it followed 3 witches over 3 different time periods. And The Sirens, from the blurb, it sounds like it's similar, but maybe 2 time periods, I'm not sure. But that's really interesting. I really like where there's like perspectives from multiple periods. The 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7th book I'm looking forward to is, here's another one I should have got down. Is it up there? Hang on. Okay. The next book I'm looking forward to is Human Rights by Juno Dawson, which is out on the 17th of July. And that is the next in the HMRC series, Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. Here's book 1 and book 2. I've read this one. I haven't read this one. This is still on my TBR to read. It's not on my 25 in 25. I have a feeling I'm going to probably read it this year because I'm kind of in a really fantasy vibe at the moment. Basically, it's witches, it's covens, it's a witch fantasy. It's a bit kind of like, I'd call it maybe magical realism. It's like set in the real world, but they're witches. Rather than say like Sarah J Maas books where they're set in a different world. So is that considered magical realism? I don't know. Anyway, so those. And then The last book on my list, the 8th book, is one where I've actually not read this author before. So everyone before is like an author I've read before, so it's a new book from them or the next day series. Whereas this one is completely new because I've seen it all over BookTok and Bookstagram, and it just sounds really interesting. And it is The Lamb by Lucy Rose, which comes out on the 30th of January, and it says it's a folk tale, a horror story, a love story, and enchantment. Rural murderess. Can't read that next word. Living in... Right, okay. I know. Rural and murderous horror, luring in strangers, feeding them, and then killing them. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? I'm just going to show you. That doesn't, I mean, that's backwards, isn't it? But anyway, that's terrible handwriting. No wonder I can't read it. So that sounds really interesting. It's like a horror, which I don't normally read, but I do kind of like the vibes of that sometimes. So they're the 8 books I'm really looking forward to this year, and I've got through this before the plumber gets here as well. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to them. I'm not buying any this year, so it's whether I can get them in the library or whether I read them next year, or whether I can borrow them, or whether I can get someone to buy them for me. Maybe I'll just send this video to my boyfriend so he's got it as like a Valentine's / birthday present / anniversary present gift ideas. I actually the one I probably will buy will be Sunrise and the Reaping by Susanna Collins, because I'll probably buy that for my daughter. Maybe it's a birthday present, maybe just as a present. And then I'll read it myself. Loophole! Right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Next week, I should be doing a roundup of what I've read in January and my February TBR, because I didn't really do a January TBR. I just kind of read stuff, and I read loads this month. So I'm looking forward to fitting you in. If you want a sneak preview of what I've read, but without my thoughts necessarily, go to my Instagram. Also, sometimes I do stuff on TikTok. And if you want to follow my reading logs, you can go on Storygraph as well. My name's the same in all of them. Simple Living Suffolk. It's me, Tilly, living in Suffolk. Trying to have a simple life. But it's not that easy. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, add a comment. Love to have you here. I'm going to now edit this and upload this and then do all my millions of chores for my day off. Bye!